Yeah.
Continued into Saturday with your lovable ASU cute Sun Devils, and went on to Sunday with your passion for the Arizona Cardinals.
It's.
So it's an offer, basically.
Are you calling us losers?
The city is a bunch of losers. Scottsdale Christian won, though.
They did. Oh, that was a fantastic game, Dale. You would have liked. You would have loved it.
Yes?
Yes.
Well, you've already explained to me that the offensive line is in great hands. They don't need me.
No. It's subtraction by addition, or addition by subtraction, if I say it properly here on this Monday. Ooh, I'm sweating. Is it hot in here?
Yeah, you didn't turn the fan on.
That one's on. That one's not on. I don't know. They must not have. Look, it's a Monday after a giant rainstorm rolled through.
Yes.
Nothing is working this morning. I walked in. There was like an alarm going off in our production room. I was like, what is that noise? Our UPC that we back it up to was just screaming. I couldn't figure out what to do with it. Computers were all off and tweaking, and
it's Columbus Day.
was
We're
terrible.
supposed to be off, Steve. The building didn't expect us to be in today.
I think that's it. I think that's the problem. It's everybody's like, nobody's going to be in today. It's a holiday.
Who are the knuckleheads, losers who's going to come in on Monday?
Hold on 1 second. I'm just checking something. I know I hate to do production stuff on air, but the way today's gone, there we go. We are good to go, Dale. We are good to go now. So, okay. Just wanted to check that out, of course.
I sound better than that, don't I?
No, that's you.
I don't.
I put a little I put a little tweet out that said, hey, we'll be up around 8:10 a.m. I said, running a few minutes behind. I said, hashtag a case of the Mondays. And Robert said, glad it's not just me. No. There was no traffic once I got on the freeway, but the downed trees, all the remnants of the flooding out by where I live. Like there's streets that just look like covered wagons. We're going to come across these dirt plains out where I am. So it did take me a little bit longer. I left early enough though, and then Kobe got stuck in traffic, and good old Dale down the 51, no problems.
Well, I was watching the weather last night, and it looked to me like out in the Gilbert Mesa area, there's like over 3 inches of rain.
It came down overnight again too.
And
yeah.
then in Scottsdale, there was 1.5 inches. So a couple inches difference in rain can make a big difference on the ground.
I saw Sky Harbor only got 2 inches of rain in the storm, which is weird because we got, all of the, those retentions, in my neighborhood are just, they're the dog park. The water, you could barely see the benches sticking out the top of the water park yesterday. I didn't see it this morning, but yeah.
Yeah, what do they do at Sky Harbor? Does some guy just stick his hand out a window with a little Dixie cup and go,
Yeah, at the Air Traffic Control Center. Guy just puts it out there. They have it's literally I'm going to call it a bucket, but it's literally a thing, and it fills up, and it's got a gauge next to it, and it fills up with water, and then they go, 2 inches, 2.25 inches. That's literally how they do it. I don't know if it's electric now. I don't know if it senses it, but that's how it was done for the longest time. Literally, somebody goes out there and goes, 1.25 inches.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna slosh it around.
So Friday night, you were at Liberty Centennial.
I was.
I saw it was a close game at halftime.
It was.
I did not see what happened after that. What happened? Who ended up winning it?
It was 3-0. Centennial again for about 1.25 can hang with the best teams, and then the second half, Liberty took over, and I think it ended up being like 30-14, something like that. People always ask me, like the following morning, I'd already forgotten.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah,
and
you know better not to forget here.
You know, what's so interesting was I didn't realize it until about halfway through the game that a running back for Centennial, his first name, his first initials are TJ, and then it's a very complicated second name. And also my partner, Chris Harris, goes, yeah, he's a transfer from Tonopah. And I go, that's the dude that we had to play against last year.
Yeah, I knew he transferred over.
Yeah. He's now about 6'2", 220.
Yeah.
And did not
explosive speed.
Did not really play a whole lot in the first half, but boy, they unleashed him in the second half, and he's a man amongst boys at that level. So thank goodness SCA doesn't have to contend with
Well,
them this year.
that's part of why Tonopah was a Final Four team in 2A last year is struggling a little bit this year. One new
Right.
coaching system, but they lost a couple of their good guys.
Right.
And we hadn't seen that in the past, right? Santan had those kids stayed.
Yep.
Pima had those kids stay, and at Pima it's harder to transfer.
Hey, who are you transferring to? Miami?
You're gonna get on a bus and go drive an hour to school. But we don't see that a lot. That at that level where guys move up like that.
No, and from 2A to 6A,
Yeah,
that's quite a jump.
that's a big jump. But he did all right, huh?
Yes, he did.
I've actually heard he's done really well this year.
Yeah, he had himself a really, really nice game. And, just from what I've heard, I've not seen Basher yet, but to me it looks like it's a Liberty, Hamilton, Basher kind of year.
Yeah, it's. Well, I was asked the question on Friday night. I was at the Red Mountain Desert Ridge game, and it's controversy here in this one, Dale. We're going to talk about here in just a minute. I was flat out asked. I go, "Oh, it looks like it's a Basha Liberty kind of year. They're going to be the final two because even in the Open, there's two teams that are usually head over heels above everybody else, right? Just taller." They're expected to get to the finals and battle it out and stuff like that. And I said, you might have three this year. And the look I got when I threw Hamilton into that was kind of like, and this, one of the kids plays for a team here in the East Valley and stuff. They were kind of shocked I said that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, guys, don't sleep on Hamilton. If you get Hamilton in the playoffs, don't sleep on. I go, sophomore receiver, sophomore quarterback. They're putting up 50 points a game.
Yep.
They're dominating when they play good teams and everything. I said, don't sleep on them, man. Don't sleep on them.
They are very explosive.
Everybody stared at me like I was crazy when I said that. And I was like, I know more than you guys do.
Do you know who I am? I'm Steve McCullum.
Every once in a while I'll say something and literally one of the other parents will be like, how do you know that? I'd be like, it's what I do. It's what I do every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. And the rest of the day is I just stare at sports. Out there, Desert Ridge, yeah. I mean, Red Mountain's good. I know the official rankings come out tomorrow for 4, 5, 6A. I think 4, 5, and 6A. Is it tomorrow or next week? I forget. But anyway, it's coming out soon. But I saw some of the people that follow high school sports. And they had Red Mountain as like a 10 in the open seed. Man, they're just fast. They're explosive. They're big. They hit hard. Oh, there's poor kid on Desert Ridge got lit up in this game. You don't see that too much in those types of games, but you see it when they play each other. The big schools play each other. But Desert Ridge got, had a little struggle on Saturday night again. Looks like, they're going to go over 69-16 is what it ended up being.
Okay.
And Desert Ridge scored late in the game. Controversy, though, Dale. Controversy.
In a 69-16 game?
It always has to involve me somehow. No, it doesn't really involve me, but it involves why I'm there. Keep in mind, it's a rainy Friday night.
Yeah.
It wasn't like uncomfortable rainy, and for some reason I picked a seat that I was being blocked by a lot of the rain by the light pole, so I wasn't getting as wet as everybody else was. But just man, we're all out there. We're getting our butts kicked, right? Desert Ridge is, and the kids are trying as hard as they can. This has nothing to do with kids. I don't even know if it has to do with the coaching staff. They just don't have the horses right now. And I will say this, the coaching staff of Desert Ridge handles it better than the coaching staff of Desert Ridge last year handled it. Like I told you guys before, I see them verbal, just absolutely yell at kids, for not doing what they're supposed to do out there, in front of it. And I'm like, that's not how you handle that, These coaches are handling it well and things to that effect. I like the way they handle themselves and stuff like that. And then, Dale, Desert Ridge gets the ball, and they're driving down the field. There's no time left. It's 69-9 or whatever the heck it is, right? And they're driving the field. We're all just open the second half of the running clock, and it's just let's just get this over with. It's rainy. Nobody's here. It's just family of the players and family of the Palm team and family of the cheer team. Only people there supporting Desert Ridge football. So Desert Ridge has the ball on offense, and they're driving down the field. Seconds left in the game. And I'm watching the baseball game because it's, like the 19,000th inning or something. And I hear it happen, but I'm not paying attention to it, but I hear it happen. And then I just hear this commotion from everybody I'm sitting around. And I'm like, wait, what? Because I heard a guy saying we have the ball. Turn that off. So they had started music and they were Pom team was dancing. Now, give the Pom team and the cheer team a ton of credit. Say what you want about them. Boy, do they have spirit. Because the rest of us were just wishing the clock would hit 0 so we can leave. But they're out there cheering, having a good time. And then I started hearing people kind of like grumble under the breath, like, 69-16, relax, man, whatever. That was the AD, the athletic director for Desert Ridge, walked from the sideline, walked over to the girls who had their back to him, toward the crowd, was yelling at them to turn the music off, we have the ball, and then he's verbally yelling at the coach on top of it about it.
The cheer coach.
The cheer coach. And I didn't see it happen live because I was watching the baseball. I heard it, but I didn't register that something was going on. And I thank God I didn't see it because that guy would have got a mouthful from me. Okay, so then after the game ends. Literally seconds later, they score a touchdown. Everybody's like, let's get out of here. It's raining. And everybody goes talks to their kids, So we went to see Elizabeth and everything. And the cheer coach and the athletic director are having what obviously looks like a heated discussion from the athletic director's side near the track. It's raining. We all want to leave.
Right.
We just watched a football team get decimated. We're the only people supporting the team right now, besides the family. Everybody else is giving up on it in a rainy condition. And we have to sit there and wait for this guy to finish with a physical verbal obligation with the cheer coach. And I'm having some fun with the security for Red Mountain, and I'm like, hey, why don't I go over there? And literally the security goes, yeah, we've known that guy for a while. Hey, he's not fun to deal with. Literally the security of Red Mountain's bashing this athletic director at this point to me and everything. And then we were talking, high school, whatever. And it's like, dude. And then he goes over and I guess he apologizes to the girl for yelling at him and stuff. But you're the athletic director. Set the standard, my man. I will give him some props, though. Well, I will give him some props and still rip him again. A couple people that I know emailed him, very upset about him doing that to the girls. These are 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old girls, man.
Yeah.
You walked over and yelled at them? They don't know what they're doing. Nobody else is caring. You're getting your butt kicked. They're the only people that are happy to be there in that moment. They're bringing joy to what you put on the football field this year, sir. And they emailed him, and he responded with, I'm so glad parents reached out to me so I could apologize to them. So instead of coming over and talking to us that night, and apologizing for embarrassing himself in front of these girls and everything, instead of doing that, he waited for people to email. Instead of putting a statement out or anything to that effect, he waited until people emailed him. He goes, I'm so glad you emailed, so I have a chance to apologize to you. No, Tiger. You're going to put your butt out there like that with teenage girls who are doing what they're supposed to be doing? I understand you want them to be quiet when you have the ball on offense. It's 69-9, dude. But you handle that separately from that. You don't go up behind them, startle them all. He walked up behind them aggressively and was yelling behind them. They're a little startling at that point.
Well, it's a little different if it's 21-20. You're driving down and it's a packed house.
Yes.
And
but even then, you don't walk over and start yelling at people. That's not leadership, man. That's not leadership. I'm not going to out him by his name, but that's not leadership, Tiger. Get your act together. Don't take your frustrations because you brought a new coach in here that's not working out this year for whatever reason. And they're trying hard. They're working hard. I still don't understand why they roll their left-handed quarterback out to the right and expect him to throw the ball down the field. Hasn't worked all year, guys. That's my complaint on the coaching staff from that perspective. Stop it. Somebody, I know a few of them follow me on Twitter. Somebody reach out to me and tell me why you still do that play. I need to know. I need to know. But I just don't get it, man. If you're a leader, especially, and I have this problem with teachers. I ran into this with Ireland's old school, Chrisman High School. Man, you're setting these kids up. Why are you being the people we have to be concerned about? We should be worried about what our teenage kids are doing and misbehaving and stuff like that. And instead, we're worried about you as an adult. And it's just sad to see in this world that we live in.
Well,
my soliloquy, Dale.
It's one of those things. During the Arizona Rattlers season, I finally had to say a couple things on air because it was like they started doing the wave when the Rattlers had the ball. And, there's 8,000 people there or whatever, and you're indoors. But it's a high school football game. You're down 69.
I mean, I'd make
points.
fun of the wave too. I don't care who comes at me for the wave. If I got fired because I said something that you're doing the wave, then so be it. I will die on that sword, Dale. But no, it's a high school game.
Yeah.
It's been a hard season. We all drove to. Now it's 10 minutes from.
I was gonna
10
say.
minutes from us. It's not that, but we knew it was going to rain on us. we knew it was going to be a miserable night. People were bringing ponchos, and some guy brought his pool umbrella, which I absolutely loved. God bless him. I wanted to be his best friend.
Pool umbrella.
It was this huge umbrella, man. It was so great. But there's like I'm exaggerating. There's like 20 people in the stand, and it's all family members of the football team and the palm and the cheer. Like nobody wants to be there. The players don't even want to be there. I probably shouldn't say that, but I mean I heard several people talking about where their kids are transferring to after this season because they're just tired of it.
Wow.
I just overheard conversations. I don't know anything. Don't come to me and say, who you here? I don't know. I don't know who they are. I overheard conversations. But it's just like, dude, and then you act that way at the end of a game. Seriously, man. Seriously. And your basketball team ain't going to be much better. I know because I sit through those games too. It's just disappointing, man. It's just bothered me all weekend. It's just like, man, you're supposed to set the example to not just your school, but to the football coaches, to the football players, to the cheer coaches, to the cheerleaders, to the palm team, and even to us as adults. You're supposed to be setting the example on how we should act in the stands. So this week when I go get bored at your football game and I start yelling stuff from the stands, don't you dare look up at me and say I'm being inappropriate when you, sir, are inappropriate yourself.
What are you going to yell at
I wouldn't
from
do
the
that.
stand?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. God, I just need the season to end so I can stop. I mean, like I said, it's not the kids, it's not the coaches. They're doing best they can. I'm not going to fault them at all. They're actually handling it really well. I'm actually shocked how well they're handling it. I don't know internal stuff, but at least verbally on the outside, I like the way they're handling it compared to last year's coach and stuff like that. The way that they were handling some of that unfortunate stuff last year. They actually the same thing. They can hang in games for the first quarter and a half.
Yeah.
Well, I texted you. I said halfway through the second be running clock. They were down 14-0 instantly.
Right.
There was a huge wind, and they were trying to throw the football, and they were just lame ducks being intercepted by Red Mountain. And their first two drives started at like the 4-yard line, like literally.
Yeah.
And they were down
going into the
14-0.
wind. Yeah, going into the wind.
Yeah, so I texted you. I was like, why are we running the football? The kicker was literally kicking it like past the track at the end of the end zone because he had the wind at his back. A huge windstorm rolling through before the rain did. And stuff like that. And I texted you, and I was like, I might have been too late on that running clock. But then they settled down, and they kept it a game up until then the other team just gets faster, stronger, and just blows through them and stuff like that. So I actually, the security guard for Red Mountain was telling me their enrollment has dropped a lot at Red Mountain.
It used to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge school. But they're having the same problem like Mesa, Dobson, Westwood are having. They're just, everybody's moving to the, and going to other schools. In the area, and Red Mountain is really good. That's the school you want to go to if you're in that area, right? Why would you go to some other school with them being good? I can understand if you're not good, right? Building that side, and then so that's my soliloquy today. Just let's be better people. Let's be better leaders when that's your role.
It was crazy because for our open on Friday night, the wind must have been gusting at 40 miles an hour.
It was very strong.
And I'm trying to hold on to my notes. and they're bent over, flying away. It was very interesting. But then about by the second quarter, it calmed down a little bit.
It was before that.
Rain. No rain.
Oh, no rain?
No rain. For the game, but once I got in the car and started driving, it
was working its way. Well, you were clear up in... You're basically Las Vegas at that point.
NOPO. My cohort Chris Harris calls it. Last
North
week,
Peoria.
He said next week will be a NOPO, and I look at NOPO because that's what people say about North Peoria. Not one person I've ever heard
I've
has
never
said
heard
no po.
I know a lot of people that live up in that area and stuff like that. I've never heard anybody call it no po.
Hey, we heading up to no po.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Yes. And then this week you're going to the Polar. Are you doing the Thursday night game?
I'm not doing a Thursday night.
Okay,
game.
I was just curious because I was going to say you're going even farther. You're going like that would be 20 minutes south of my house. They're ALA Queen Creek. I was only asking because a lot of excitement about that game coming up. I saw Max Hall did his. My time at ALL Queen Creek has come to an end.
Yeah, and why did the time come to an end after 6 games?
After being there for what 12, 13 years, 11 years?
Yeah, he said like 10, 11, 12
Yeah,
years.
it's been over a decade.
Why
Mm-hmm.
do that to your kids unless obviously the implication is there's something that happened? Because coaches, without any urging from other people, don't
just
necessarily leave in the middle
No,
of the
it would be
season.
afterward, and because he doesn't have another job lined up.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. Not now, you don't.
No.
Not
Well,
now.
maybe you could take Penn State job.
Unless there's another ALA school opening up, because I know Joe Germain's up there at ALA North Gilbert or whichever ALA that is, and I know he got that job like a year before it actually opened
Has
up.
anybody ever counted how many ALAs there are?
Dude, I get so confused, man. I get so confused. But I mean, that was the thing. Like the rumor, and I heard it from several people now. So I'm not reporting anything. But it was kind of those like where the narrative from the school is he was fired. The narrative from behind the scenes is he quit. Questions.
Maybe it's because he's going to have to go and hash out that buyout. Maybe it might be 40, 45, $50 million buyout.
58 million now. It keeps going up for some reason.
Hey, here's $100. Get out of here.
I told you on that. I'm not saying he's the sole guy to get kids together. I just know I don't know these kids. I've ran into probably 4 or 5. That's my area out there. That's 20 minutes south, but I've spent a lot of time in that area where I am and my kids and stuff like that, where they go. And I've ran into and had conversations with 6, 7, 8 kids now that were as 7th, 8th graders were transferring or planning to go to ALL Queen Creek because Max Hall, was asking them to get in that program and stuff to that effect.
Well, they were good. They were good football.
This is the first year they're not good. So does he take the blame for it all? That's what I don't get.
Well, I mean, your boy Franklin's taking the heat.
Well, because he sucks as a head coach.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't pretend to follow LA Queen Creek. All I know is they've been in the Open a couple.
They've
years,
been really good,
and that's quite an accomplishment for what was then. Didn't they go from like a 2A to a 4A to a 5A, 6A school in like 3 years?
Yeah, quickly. Well, yeah, the school isn't huge, but it's charter school or whatever you want to call it, and it grows. But yeah, they grew quick. All those ALAs grow quickly. Like look at the one Joe Germain's coaching up there, and
so which LA is that?
It's Gilbert or North Gilbert or North Mesa. I don't know, one of those.
Okay.
But it was a 3A I think last year, and I think this year it's 4A, and then it's just going to grow as they get more enrollment there. And stuff to that. They came out of nowhere. Let's put it that way.
Well, let's go to good news. Tell me about your experience in no Scott. No Scott.
No. Okay.
Sco.
No. Okay. The announcer, God bless him. I'm sorry I'm going to do this to you, man. He called it the turf on Tatum, Dale. I've never heard him say that before. I've never heard anybody refer to it like that before. But he kept saying, the Saturday night battle at the turf on Tatum.
I was there for about 20 years. I don't think
I've ever heard him say that. And it just stuck out. Like the more he said it, the more it stuck out. I wouldn't hear anything he said. And then I just hear turf on Tatum.
That's got a nice ring to it.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
So talk to me about your experience.
All right. It was fun. No rain. Perfect night. A little humid.
Okay.
Perfect night. We snuck in about 6:45. Didn't, kind of unannounced. Didn't we avoided, and I love you to death. Mama, Sheehan and everything. But we just kind of snuck in through the side, through the back, and just went up to our seats off to the side. Good crowd showed up. and stuff to that effect. And it was, weather ended up being nice. No rain at all. Lightning on the drive home, so we got lucky on that from that perspective. But we sat down and, had the ASU game on, which disaster. I don't know why. Phoenix Christian and SCA, this was like a heavyweight battle, man. Two teams, lots of penalties, though. It was lots of penalties. I didn't get the exact count. I'm going to go back and watch the film here this week because, the adjustments being made by both teams, you could see it in real time, was fantastic to watch, because I sat up high in the bleachers, meaning
row 12.
meaning, I was at an elevated level, but, not too elevated. You know what I'm talking about. So I could see like the holes coming in there. Phoenix Christian runs a wing tee. And I don't know how I can explain it. It's like a calmer wing tee than ALA, the Lutheran Academy, does.
Okay.
I got like less violent version of it. But what they do really well, first of all, they threw the ball a lot, which surprised me because they hadn't thrown the ball at all this year. But they kind of had to because the SCA would shut down their running game. But they would just run constantly into the, I guess you would call it the A gap, right off the center and tackle. Like they would just force a guy into there 1-2 times. And then just out of nowhere, and you would see it happen, an SCA kid would cheat into that gap a little bit from outside, and then boom, 20-yard run.
Yeah.
And you could just see it happening as it was going. And Coach Clark, and who's the other, and I apologize, I forgot his name. Who's the other defensive coach there? Clark, and there's another guy that helps him out.
Yeah, his buddy, I forget his name.
I know, man, I apologize. I owe you a big one here for just slipping my mind right now. But they did a great job of adjusting to that and kind of slowing it down. But they were converting long passes. Weather was perfect. So, some missteps on the offensive side. SCA's first drive, every big play they had two of them called back for penalties.
Holding?
Holding penalties, yeah. And just sloppy game from that perspective. But, it came down to the end where both teams were battling it out for the end there. And overall, and I talked to Mike afterwards, and we'll bring it up on Wednesday, and he goes, "Oh, you're just sloppy, blah blah blah," and I just go, it wasn't as bad as you think it was, but I was thinking of it as from a game management. You got out of there with the win, your first real test on the year. I was thinking that from that perspective,
right?
From a coach's perspective with the penalties and a lot of mistakes on both sides of the ball and stuff like that. I could understand why he thought it was like the worst game on the planet.
Well,
it
that's
really wasn't.
What's so interesting, and I talked to a lot of coaches about this, is the fact, and we've been through it the years I was at SCA. 98% of high schools now run some sort of spread offense, 3 wide receivers, things like that. You don't ever see the single wing or the wing tee or whatever. Yeah. And so all of a sudden, you're getting ready for Phoenix Christian.
A lot of eye candy.
And you're asking your backup offense to simulate it.
Yeah.
And never is it as fast as you're going to see Friday night.
Yeah.
Never is it as solid and good as you're going to see Friday night. And so, again, against those types of offenses, eye discipline is so important because misdirection.
I don't know how you get it because literally the quarterback gets the ball, he'll fake it to one kid.
Yeah.
Who that kid will do something. He'll turn around, fake it to another kid, and that kid will do something if he didn't give it to him.
Yeah.
And then he'll give it to the third kid, or he'll throw it.
Yeah.
And it happens in a split. Like I was just watching it going. It was kind of like watching a juggling act where you're like, where's the ball?
Where's the ball? Where's the ball? But the thing is the defender, you have a gap.
Yeah.
You have the B gap.
Yeah.
When you get in trouble is when you, as the defender, start watching. Oh, who's got the ball? No. You got the B gap.
Yeah, and in real time, in that first half, I'm just telling you because it was like you could see it. It was like, oh, I think I audibly would go, whoop, here it comes every time because you could see it happening. All it took was one step.
Yep.
Usually at this level, it's multiple movements that get you to get in trouble. It was literally one step, and Phoenix Christian was able to put the block on the guy to open up that hole.
Yeah.
That's how good they were in terms of their blocking. They were big. They were fast. And SCA matched it.
What you're also doing with that type of offense is you're counting on not having to block a couple guys because they're going to chase a ghost.
Once they got if they got to the second level, they picked up some yardage. Yeah. It was interesting to see, but they eventually got turnovers, to get in there, to score pick six and stuff to keep this a game. The thing I was worried about in the first half, and I said it to Mike's coach dad there at halftime when I went down to talk to him, I was like, because they were down, and I was like, if this doesn't change, you're just not going to have opportunities on the offensive side of the ball because they just go and take 6, 7. And then they came out and started throwing it. And the first half went by like that because they were just running. They were 6-minute drives, whether they scored or not. PC was 6, 7 drives. So I was worried about them not having the opportunities, getting in a rhythm. And I think that's where a lot of the sloppiness came from. The thing I like about SEA, to be honest with you, as I thought about it on the drive home and yesterday, is they're tested. So end of game scenarios don't affect them. And I feel like, and I don't want this to sound negative, but I feel like Phoenix Christian hasn't been put in that situation, so it was a different scenario for them. Whereas I think Scottsdale Christian's kind of at home in those situations at this point.
Well, I know that the coaching staff has to be happy, and again, I think if SCA would have lost that game, I wasn't there. I have not watched the film yet either. But if they'd have lost that game, yes, would you be upset? We've heard Mike say it, but I think it's actually more than what he says publicly. Are you going to be upset?
Yes.
For a couple days? Yes. But if it's a close, hard-fought game, you can learn from that.
I mean, even I can tell you this, I didn't record it because I don't record those private stuff, but I was down there in the huddle afterwards, and everything. And Mike was like, you made all these mistakes and penalties and this. I mean, it was like 5 minutes of him just rattling off what they did wrong in the game. And I get it. That's the aspect you have to do. But I was just sitting there going, man, you got out of that game against you're going to see them again in the playoffs.
Right. And that's the thing. I've had conversation with Mike about that's not the time, especially against, hey, if you play sloppy and beat a team by 21 points and you have penalties and turnovers,
that's when you bring that up.
That's when you bring it up. But you always have Monday to, hey, we'll watch the film and, okay, let's go over.
I think on both sides, a lot of the penalties, a lot of the holding penalties and stuff to that effect were just because kids were fast. And then, especially as the game went on, I think Phoenix Christian, and I don't know this, it just looked like it looked like they got a little bit more tired. They've been blowing people out too. Mm-hmm. And it definitely got sloppier in that third and fourth quarter. And it was like, okay, these kids are like, oh my God, I'm still in here? What am I doing? I will say this also. I mentioned it. I didn't say it out loud there because it's, not my place, whatever. But the crowd was just like, And it was a good crowd. The bench wasn't celebrating. They weren't yelling stuff. Like Alex, your son-in-law, kept being like, bench, yo, runner pass. And they just weren't. It was like, I don't know if it was. And that's what I was trying to figure out. Was it the expectation of we're just going to win this game? Or was it nervousness that, this is a big test?
I think that it's always interesting to me because there's, again, when you take a big step back and you just look at the entirety of it, the one thing you always have to remember is you're dealing with 15, 16, 17-year-olds.
On a Saturday night, they're going into break, by the way, on top of it. How many of them are?
But you have a Saturday night game, so your entire routines. I saw some of the emails and stuff that Mike said, hey, get up by 8:30.
That was on Friday. Get up by 8:30 and walk and move around.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like, hey, it's a regular Saturday. I can sleep till noon, but your routine is thrown off. Yeah. Usually you're up at whatever you are, 6:30. Yeah. You go to class, you go to school, you do your routine after school. But now it's Saturday and you're like probably more lethargic. And you don't know what these kids are going through, the biorhythms. Well,
that's what I'm getting at. That's what I was like watching and it wasn't like they weren't paying attention, but even like they kept having to call for, I hadn't seen it now. I haven't been to the last several games, but I didn't see it at all early in the season. Like they had to call for kids. Like they weren't on the field when they're supposed to be.
Right.
And they had to call for them. Like that's beginning of the season stuff you have to deal with.
Well, see, and that's what's interesting about that, because I'm thinking back, because last couple of years, I don't think we've had a Saturday game until the playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs.
Well, we always usually play the 2:00 game, which is, hey, you got to get up and get moving and whatever, because that's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah, because you're warming up at
noon? But if you're not playing until 7:00, and it's not like hey, we're putting everybody up in a hotel. We got curfew.
Yeah, they're
games
doing meetings
off,
all morning.
Yeah, things like that. It's hey, you can play Call of
Yeah.
Duty till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like it was just, and I mean, I could tell you that I was just sitting at home, and it was like, oh, we got to leave. It's 6 o'clock. Let's head down there. I was watching the weather, and everything, and I also thought ASU was going to get blown out, so it made a better decision to run down there. But it was a fun game. I can tell you this: this game showed me the playoffs are going to be fun in 2A. There's, which also cracks me up. SCA takes so many arrows from people in the high school community saying they don't deserve to be there. They manipulate it to be there. They get all the good kids. None of these other schools, like, why isn't Phoenix Christian taking those arrows? They're a really good team this year.
You know what's funny though?
Camp Verde's really good. We see them this week.
Hey, for 20 years, nobody said anything.
I know, it's
You
'cause
know,
they
every I
win.
was be like, I remember being out there in spring, and there's certain rules the AI has. You can use this kind of dummy, but not this kind. And I'm like, for 20 years, I'm like, I promise you, nobody in the AIA or any surrounding high school driving down Tatum going, I wonder what SCA is doing.
I know. Like, they're like, let them cheat. Who cares? We're going to beat them anyway.
Yeah, they suck anyway. And all of a sudden you become good. Again, it's a little bit like the Golden State Warriors who, boy, when they first won and Steph Curry was cute and all these little sleepy things and all, and then after you win a couple times, it's like, all right, let's move on to the next one. We need somebody else to win.
No, it does crack me up, and I realize there's a lot of that out there. But I mean, hats off to Phoenix Christian. I mean, and it's I'm obviously on the SEA side. It's just that coaching staff was intense. Let's just put it that way.
It'll be interesting to see because I think it's almost every division. If you sit down and study it, I think the Open's going to have those three teams that can knock each other off, and the rest of them are going to just be wannabes.
Yep.
I think you see the 6A going to be the same thing, and you go down to 2A. If the top four teams play each other, it's going to be a good, hard-fought game.
Yeah, and that'll come. Hopefully, it doesn't come till semifinals,
yes,
right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see with Camp Verde this weekend. But I mean, the research I've done on Camp Verde, they're a really skilled team as well coming into it. So. You're going to face these guys again. That's the thing. And then don't forget, after Camp Verde this Friday, they have to travel to another region. They don't even know where they're going yet. They can go Parker, who's having a good year. They can go to one of those rural schools coming up, and they win that. Then you get a bye at that point. So it's kind of like question marks what we're dealing with on that side. But it's fascinating. It was a fun game, and I came away from that going, yes, you have a lot to focus on and clean up as a coaching staff. But my initial reaction out of that game was, whew, that was fun. Even though it was sloppy at times and stuff like that.
It's no fun to coach in a 50-3 victory for either side.
Yeah. I mean, I just looked at Mike was like, oh, you start getting like really like, pointing everything out to me. And I go, it wasn't as bad as you thought it was. And then he like looks at me and I go, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know you got the penalties and stuff, but I'm just telling you, it wasn't as bad as you thought it was.
Right.
Like in the moment while you're coaching and you barely hung on and stuff to that effect. And then I was like, I don't think he gets what I'm saying because he's focused on the penalties and the missed blocks. They do have a tackling high problem, though. Remember at the beginning of the year I brought that up where there's a lot of concern about that, and I asked him about it. They're still tackling it. They had this big, huge dude, and he ended up going long touchdown late in the game, I think, to tie it up or take the lead. I don't remember. And like everybody was hitting him up high. That guy was just like,
bouncing off him.
Bloop, bloop. And it was like, go to the knees, go to the legs. But it was a fun Saturday night, other than that ASU game, which we have to talk about. It was nice to see two coaches. I'll give Phoenix Christian a ton of credit too. To see two coaches come into a game with their teams prepared. And I'll give, even though they lost the game, Phoenix Christian, overcame a lot in that game also. It was not a pretty game for them either. It wasn't like just things were going against SCA's way, though. No, it was just as bad for them on penalties and things of that effect and whatnot. And they were even able to overcome it and keep it a ball game and stuff like that. So it was fun to watch two coaches have their teams prepared and battle it out, because I don't see a lot of that. I didn't see a lot of that in any other places. That goes for Oregon. That goes for all these other schools out there.
Penn State.
Penn State. I mean, just what's happened to the coaching profession, man? It's gone. It's gotten terrible. Jonathan Gannon, got to talk to him. Dale. But it was a good weekend overall. You enjoy it? You enjoy your rainy weekend? Did Graham? No flag football was canceled.
What's his name?
Graham Tate.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Noah.
No, I said Graham, and then I interrupted myself and asked the question. It was canceled, right, because of the weather?
It was canceled. Yes, 5-year-old flag football. There's always another weekend.
Was he like? Is he chomping at the bit to get there? And then he's like, "What do you mean it's canceled? That's all I live for."
I don't think
that's all I live for. Pop.
I actually don't think he was, but he is definitely more interested this year than he was last year. My daughters took me out for dinner on.
Oh, I saw that
on Saturday night, and a combination Father's Day, birthday. It's been a while in the making, but
I was going to say 6 months late.
Yeah, with everybody traveling and all that.
Busy summer.
Yeah, but because Hillary's, you talk about coaching. 5-year-old flag football plays the first game 2 weeks ago. Ended up being a super competitive game, but by competitive, I mean the score was close. It's still a bunch of
you said last year the other teams were like running set patterns and stuff to that effect.
But this was not that. Okay. Graham's team has a better coaching staff than last year, and they're better.
They're just volunteers. Poor guys.
Yes, but what I'm trying to tell every parent as I'm rocking in my chair on the sideline, just chilling, watching. I never was one of those.
With your fisherman hat. That's my favorite part of your attire, your big floppy hat that every coach in the planet has.
I never, when the girls were growing up, not once did I ever yell at kids. Did I get on kids? Now, I'd get on the occasional official. But in these 5-year-old.
Yeah, but you don't yell at them.
In these flag football games at 5 years old, they got 14-year-old girls out there trying to officiate these games, and all of a sudden fans are yelling at them, and it was one of those things. The other team started yelling. Their coach showed up with a black leather jacket and jeans. He's coaching out there. It's about 95 degrees.
Did he come on as Harley too?
I'm like, what is this?
He's like, I just got done with my ride.
But it been a close game. Parents were sniping at each other, and I'm like, what are we doing? And so now here I am trying to be the voice of reason of, hey, guys.
Just sit back and watch.
The only goal you should have if you're coaching 5-year-old flag football, only goal is make sure they have fun and make sure they want to play next year.
Yes. Remember, Ireland stopped playing softball because she had that a-hole coach.
Yes, make sure they come out.
That treated them like they were all in line for college scholarships on a rec league game. And she doesn't want to play anymore because of that a-hole.
There will be a time where if you're still playing, yes, it becomes serious.
Absolutely.
Not at 5, not at 6.
No, her junior high team, that coach was that way, and she was fine with it in that environment.
Right.
But the rec league was something they went and had fun at, and took it serious, but still wanted to have fun with it. Yeah, that's the thing that makes me the maddest when they do it. Trust me, there were parents at SEA that were complaining about. One guy yells out and goes, "Call it on both teams, ref!" And I was like, there have been like 72 flags in this game, and I'm willing to bet it's 50-50, Tiger.
Or maybe 55-45.
Yeah, but I'm like, they're calling it on both teams, man. And then after the game, a lady came by me, and I don't remember who I was talking to. She was like, "Oh man, it's nice to overcome that with the refs against us." And I was like, all right, maybe you guys watched it differently. But I get it too, because they're invested differently than I am.
They're invested differently, number one. Number two, and you're talking now varsity football.
Yes.
You're not talking
this is
8-year-old, whatever.
Yeah. I let it go a little bit more because of the level that it is. And especially, quite frankly, the expectations he put out there.
Yeah.
Sheehan has out there for the program. And that video board is sweet.
Is it?
Best one. I go to a lot of high school stadiums. Best one in the state. It's not even close.
Does it have welcome Steve McCullum?
No, I got to talk to him about this.
No,
but we got to talk about this. End of the first quarter, beginning of the game, they just start throwing B-roll of players and music playing. And I'm like, am I at the ASU game right now? Are they going to stomp the bus? They have the other team coming up here. Yeah, it's fantastic, man. So good job, donors up there as well.
Oh. Well, when you win, good things come, Steve.
And then the donors show up.
Yeah. we couldn't even get new netting to put on the scout teams for about 5 years.
That's what cracks me up, and I get it, man. It's a lot of, but I mean, like in years past, it was like 3 signs of sponsorships, you know. And now the video board's rolling through like I'm exaggerating, like 70 companies are being flashed up there now, you know. And it's
you want to be associated with the winner, Steve?
Like, where are you guys at here, man? Yeah, we should do a little recording and coaches show every Wednesday for the last home game that they have.
All right, but they have 2 games left, right?
Yeah, so it's Camp Verde, and then they have that weird thing that nobody can figure out and nobody understands.
Oh, I thought there was 2. I thought there was 2 before that.
Nope. Camp Verde on Friday night here. Camp Verde comes down to here, and then the next game is that
they'll play the other
game.
region champion or whatever.
They play. So if they finish second in the region, they get another region at the same level. Winner of that game gets a bye going to the playoff. Loser of that game has to play in the first round of the playoffs. That's the way I understand it. But I don't get how they pick. I've heard a couple people, including Coach, say like it would be like a Parker or one of those region schools, and I'm like, why would you go that far out there? But it has to do with power. I don't get it. So, but yeah, so 2, and that one will be on the road. So, and then if you get the bye week, then that means after that you're playing at wherever the playoffs are being played this year on crooked numbered Westwood Field.
I still think the first 2 rounds of the playoffs could be at a higher seed. And then
the first 2 rounds will be?
Yeah.
Because if you get that bye, so then the next one you would still
yeah.
so they have a potential to still have.
I think.
Because they'll be the higher seed in that game if they make it. You know, if they make it to that game. Well, they're not. They were number 3 this week. They're not dropping. And
Phoenix Christian was 2.
Yeah. Phoenix Christian was 2, and they got the number 1 team. What was that? Mingus?
Veritas.
Veritas. Yeah. This week, so that'll be a good game to watch. That'd be a fun one to go to.
Yeah. Look at you all over the valley.
I know. Look at me go. Charge the car and let's go, baby.
Well, anything to avoid watching your beloved Sun Devils or the other team you just fawn over, the Arizona Cardinals.
Do we have a controversy? As we go to break here, the first hour, commercial-free first hour for you, as we're having some fun with some high school talk out there. And look, just be better leaders, man. I just
now remember, you're not talking about SCA now.
No, I'm not. No. Oh man, no, they're athletic directors. I don't know them at all, but I've interacted with them.
I'm just saying, you kind of went from.
Oh yeah. No. Just in general, and everything is, man, you be a better leader. That's what I'm gonna say. I saw 2 instances, and I'm not gonna call out the second one, but it was against SCA. It's just you got to represent yourself better when you're in a leadership position. There's some shenanigans in the handshake line. Let's put it that way. And like it's just like, you know, let's just be better leaders. I don't get for the life of me why you become a teacher or an athletic director or a football coach. You're not doing it for the money. You're not doing it for the notoriety. Like Jesse Parker, all those years dominated high school. Now look at him. Oh, great! Congratulations. That's your life. Like, you're not doing it for those reasons, you know, out there. You're not doing it for the money and stuff like that. Most NFL head coaches aren't doing it for those reasons. Some are. And they usually fail. But it's about grown men. It's about making a men and doing all that stuff. Let's just be better leaders. That's all I'm going to say. My message for the first hour, everybody. With that being said, I'm going to go yell at somebody. Come on back, folks. Main event, second hour, coming up next.
Be a leader, Steve.
And we're back here. Main event, second hour now. Had some fun here, wrapping up the weekend. High school talk out there. Some big games coming up. Playoffs on their way. Rankings coming out this week and everything. And look, good. It's going to be fun to see as we go forward. And, I got decisions this week. I don't know who Desert Ridge has this week. And then SCA Friday night. Out there. I do like the spread out. They spread it around perfectly for me last weekend with everything going on. So some decisions have to be made this weekend coming up here. And one thing I know for sure, I don't have to worry about buying any more WNBA Finals tickets. I mean, they fought hard, even with people being out, concussions, etc. They just got mismatched. And now you need depth on this Mercury team going into next year. And they're ahead of schedule, as everybody says. But they ended up getting swept there, which I was just kind of hoping they wouldn't have gotten swept, man. And these 5 p.m. start times, dude. Seriously. I would argue that they're terrible, except for the fact that they're having record ratings. Record ratings. I forgot it was on Friday night. I got the alert that they lost, and I had to go back and look at it, So, but
you always have to. When I look at the Mercury, and again, we don't spend a whole lot of time studying them.
Yeah, I don't break down their film.
But I think if you just said beginning of the season, you guys are going to make it to the finals and the Aces are going to win again, you'd have went, really? I'll take that.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I have no – if anybody is upset on what the Mercury's did this year, you need to lower your expectation levels, man.
And so now it's up to them to see if they can't –
This is the problem. Sustained
yes. Well, if they can improve a little bit, they now know where their deficiencies are against the best of the best.
Yes.
And we'll see
they like I said, I was saying it all year long. They got past the Lynx. Lynx were one of those better teams. But I was telling you all year long, there's probably 3 or 4 teams, I'd say 3, in the WNBA that were just another tier. You could see it with their talent, their depth, etc. And the Mercury was the next tier down from that. So just to make it to the finals ahead of time. But what we have as a problem here, Dale, is sustained success. We can't have it here in Arizona. That's the bottom line that we're experiencing.
Can you imagine having a decade of one of those teams just being good every year and being disappointed? Oh, the Diamondbacks only made it to the NLCS.
Yeah. Oh, they only won 2 World Series in 7 years, and they made it 4 times. Like the Buffalo Bills. Oh, they lost 4 in a row, but they made it.
Or the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah,
I think they won the division title every year in the 90s, but they only won one World Series.
Yeah. It's just, I'd love to have that as an argument of how disappointed I am on that side of things, right? It's just, we'll start off with college football here as well, just because of the way it went this weekend. A lot of surprises out there. First of all, let's throw up the show picks, if we can, Kobe, here. And see where we are. Good news is we tied this weekend. And I was going to do the add up here of the weekly stuff and see what the lead is and everything. And I went to the movies instead yesterday. So, Dale, I didn't get to the who's leading what right now, because I went and saw Tron, by the way. Recommended if you are into that type of stuff. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Yeah. Good thing we picked 2 games differently, because otherwise – we had the same record. Going with Arizona. What a stupid mistake, Dale. Stupid mistake.
Wow.
Look, give props to Arizona, man. That was a fantastic game.
Yes.
I was watching that and then went to baseball after that. I was kind of going back and forth, but it's just hard to do on your phone. But look, they punched BYU in the mouth and just lost in that second overtime. Didn't have enough to get over it, which is what I thought Arizona was. They're good enough to compete. They're just not good enough to get over that hump right now, right? But we'll see where it goes. But they're going to continue to have a good season. Missouri let me down. I didn't realize the refs were going to give them favorable calls there in Alabama. I should have known that Alabama would get those favorable calls, Dale.
Okay, parent of a high school kid.
Ohio State got a couple favorable calls against Illinois. That actually was making me mad. That dude was pass interfered with down the sideline so bad that ref was all,
They did let those DBs for Ohio State play very, very, very physical.
And then they threw it on Illinois. That's where I get the problem with it is call it consistently if you're going to do that. And they did not do that. Ohio State was winning that game regardless, but I hate to see that factor in, right? But then that vaunted, I mean, just growing up and my grandpappy used to always talk about that vaunted ACC matchup of Stanford-SMU. Came, look at that. The Mustangs got one up on Stanford this time.
You got some tree T-shirts in your closet.
The Indiana, Oregon. I mean, look, folks, Indiana's for real. Let's just start talking about that. This narrative that it's Indiana and they're not going to be any good. They walked into Oregon and won that game.
I saw something when I was watching. I got to see most of that game. The fact that things are good in Indiana right now. Obviously, the Pacers made the NBA championship.
Yeah.
You got
one of the best young NBA guys right now.
The Indianapolis Colts are going to the Super Bowl.
5-1. Dominated that Arizona Cardinals team yesterday.
Notre Dame's doing okay.
Caitlin Clark. I forgot about Notre Dame being there too. Yeah. Oh, they have 2 losses and ranked 13th. It's who they lost. They lost to the number 1 and number 3 team, by the way, on that side. But then what's up with Texas? Arch Manning decides to wake up and decide to play there against Oklahoma. What?
Well, you got a quarterback who.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you sit there and you give him kudos for the bravado. Maybe one more week might have helped him.
Well, you have to explain that to people that didn't see it.
Sam Mateer, the quarterback for Oklahoma, had surgery less than 17 days ago.
Yeah.
Fought to come back, came back. As the guy who's broken my thumb multiple times.
And that's the problem. It's not like it's it's something that has to do with throwing mechanics.
It's not your non-throwing hand or
you got to catch the ball and I know it's just that's why I sit back and go, what are you doing, Oklahoma? Like
the thing with your thumb is it's your guide. You don't even think about it until you can't use it. I promise you that.
That's how you get the spin on the ball.
Until I broke my thumb for the first time, little things like starting a car and opening a car or opening a door, you don't even think about it. Well, now try and do it without your thumb. And so snapping became really difficult with a broken thumb because you can't control the trajectory nor the direction. And you're saying you're right, the spin. Because that thumb, everything comes off your thumb as you're snapping or you're throwing. So I would have thought another week.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this. It looked like it once he went out there.
Yeah.
Let's throw up the AP poll here as well here, which it's no shocker. Arizona State fell out after that performance on Saturday night that we'll get into here in just a minute and everything. But, wow.
I was going to say, can you make that a little bit smaller?
I'd like to apologize to everybody that it's that size there. That's my fault there. I saved it in a weird format, obviously. But interesting enough, Indiana moves all the way up to number 3 here. Where was name a time in your life where you went, hey, Indiana, number 3.
Indiana football.
Football, yes. Yes, it's as well. Texas A&M's 4 there. Ole Miss is still up there at 5. But Texas Tech, who comes into town this weekend at 1 p.m. down there at what I still call Sun Devil Stadium. Texas Tech, there's in the 7th spot right now for them. Oregon moves down 5 spots. As we look at it, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee go there. Notre Dame's 13th, as I said, 4-2 for them. Like I said, they lost to a couple really good schools. 2-loss team in that spot kind of annoys me, right? Then Oklahoma falls down 8 spots there to 5-1, which they don't know leeway for the quarterback situation in that game, but people are really down on Texas, so that could be a lot of it there. BYU moves up to 15th spot. They move up 3 spots there from that perspective. And then Missouri does move down 2 with their loss. But USC not ranked. Texas not ranked back in. And Texas comes back in at 21. They beat Oklahoma. We got to get them up highly ranked again. So when they play another SEC team and lose, they can that team can say they played somebody good.
I got one bone to pick, Steve.
Utah's 23, Cincinnati, and then Nebraska. What do you got?
You got one bone to pick. Of the top 11, there's only 6 SEC teams. What in
they're beating
in
up on each other.
is going on? It's a dog eat dog. God, I remember when the Pac-12 used to do that. We just carnivore each other.
That's why the SEC couldn't play 9 conference games. Oh, we can't play another hard game. That's impossible for us to do.
I mean, you got, and then the rest of the top 20, you got Missouri. You got Texas.
Oh,
got Oklahoma.
Don't sleep on Tennessee.
My goodness,
too.
that's what 9.
Yeah, everybody's in there except for Mississippi State. Hasn't won a conference. They started off the season 3-0 and haven't won a conference game. Go Cowbells.
Well, they beat your Sun Devils and then they hit some competition.
Go. Yeah, so there we go. Cincinnati's coming up on the ASU schedule here. They have Oklahoma State this week. What are you talking about? They're done. They just beat UCF 20-11.
No, ASU. I don't care who they have coming.
You putting a fork in them?
No, they're done.
Well, let's get into it.
They're losing to Texas Tech. They're going to lose to.
Hold on. Okay, we'll get it out.
Cincinnati.
At Helly's 7070 on X, folks. Tell them how you think about it.
So they've already lost 2 games or 3? 2 games.
2 ASU?
Yeah.
2 games. I told you they're going to lose 2 to 3 this year going into the season, so they're right on pace.
So they're going to lose Texas Tech. They're going to lose Cincinnati. They got one other. Oh, Iowa State. So there's 3, and then U of A 4.
Iowa State's playing like garbage. They just lost again.
But they got to go to Ames, Iowa.
I know.
The corn stalks are going to bother. Maybe their allergies will be reacting along with their soft tummies. And so 4 losses. So that they're going to end up the season with either 5 or 6 losses.
Ye of little faith. What are you talking about?
5 or 6 losses.
A miracle happened negative last week for ASU. It can change around, and a miracle can happen this week. And by miracle, I mean I went back and watched Sam Leavitt play in that TCU game. He's had an injury since Baylor, Dale. And I watched him in that fourth quarter just run, dodge guys, run circles around them, hit guys, bounce off them, and keep running. I watched him throw pinpoint passes to his receivers at the end of that TCU game. But he's been nursing an injury that flamed up so badly on Thursday that he couldn't play this weekend. And then he shows up in a walking boot on Saturday night. This is the biggest bunch of baloney I've ever seen in my life around Arizona State. Something nefarious is happening. Something egregious is happening. Whatever other big words you want to use on this situation. This is some serious, if I may use a layman's term, BS happening around the Arizona State program online now.
Let me tell you.
Stop feeding us the crap that he's been hurt since Baylor. Yes, every player's been hurt since Baylor. But don't tell me that it got so bad on Thursday that he couldn't play when we watched him play Baylor and we watched him play TCU and then a bye week. And then we watched him practice last week and then, boom, he's got a walking boot?
Let me tell you one thing. When I heard from some people that I know, and I know you know people too, we have not talked.
Nope. I'm interested in seeing if it correlates that.
I love and loved. Oh, real quick, just as an aside, they had a reunion at Saguaro for the basketball team.
Oh, yeah, how'd that go?
It was fun seeing people from, they graduated in their,
50 years ago.
late 70s to the last 5 years. What I did not realize.
Hold on, I got to write down where we were at because we're going to go on a tangent here.
Well, was that in 50? What's 72 to 2025? Was
a
that
lot.
53?
Yeah, a lot. Yes.
In 53 years, Soares only had 5 basketball players of the year, of which I was one, and I was the first one. I didn't realize any of that.
Really?
How this guy, the new coach, had everything kind of set up.
Really?
Kind of cool.
Maybe they just didn't have records that went back that far.
But it was fun to catch up. But here's what I was going to say.
They had a flood in the basement, and it ruined all the old records.
Here's what I was going to say. They had basketballs out, and there were some of the younger guys who were shooting around, playing a little bit. And I picked up a basketball, and I dribbled it a little bit.
It was awkward, wasn't it?
And then I'm standing under the hoop, and I'm going, are these hoops still at 10 feet? Because I threw up a couple just little bank shots. I'm like, I think these hoops are 11 feet. And it was crazy. But that
And you're taller now.
but I got distracted.
Yes,
So
I know.
basketball is my favorite sport. I had a passion for basketball. I loved basketball. I was better at basketball. All those things. And I never, ever, 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 not even once contemplated playing basketball during the football season. That's an egregious lack of forward thinking, of thinking about your teammates. That's an off-season activity. I don't care. I promise you. I loved basketball more than this quarterback who now, since I'm into this, I forgot his name.
Sam Levitt.
Sam Levitt loves basketball. I promise you.
Well, Jordan Tyson's brother
I
plays
promise-
in the NBA.
I promise you.
It's part of that culture.
And he doesn't love basketball as much as I love basketball.
Okay.
He's just better.
Yeah, no. Let me ask you this question this way, because we both heard stuff. We have not discussed this, so we're just going to hash it out on air, and let's be irresponsible and hash it out on the air. Are you being told that's what it was?
Yes.
Yeah. Chris Cartman shot that down. I am also being told that's what it was. I was told that last week.
I have a feeling
that's why we were speculating on air about it, as I was told that too. Now, to be clear, I've had multiple people tell me he was playing during the off week and hurt himself, lower body injury, and then hurt himself. It's an ankle. And multiple people. So it's not just one person that's told me that. And now you're hearing it separately.
Yes.
I don't know if we have the same people or not, and stuff like that. But Chris Cartman completely, and I'm not knocking Chris Cartman, he completely shut that down.
And you can't tell me that he's above Dillingham or somebody going to him and saying, "Hey, for the sake of the program,
that's what I wonder.
Let's keep this.
It's a bad look. I'll just say that's why last week when we were speculating about it. It's the only explanation. Go back and watch the TCU film and the way he was running in that fourth quarter, and you can't tell me that he had a serious lower leg injury that required a boot, and then he practiced Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of last week, and then Thursday he couldn't go in this game, and he's in a walking boot. Now, sometimes, right, if you have a concussion and they want to hide it, you throw a leg brace on somebody, to distract you. That has been done in sports before, right? You're not supposed to do that anymore, but that has been done before. But there's only one explanation, and the fact they're hiding it is jading me against this program right now. And I get it. You need to protect him, because if they come out with that, fan base is going to lose their mind. If that is true. And nothing's official out there, so I'm not a reporting guy, so I'm not going to be the guy that comes out and report it. But whether it was basketball, whether it was pickleball, whether it was he was
Call of Duty,
whatever,
you get hurt playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, you get mad and you stand up, you throw your controller against the TV, it bounces back, hits you in the face, you fall backwards, you twist your ankle, you're out for a week, Dale. I've heard that happens. But yeah, so we've individually heard that from several different people now, and stuff.
And I don't know why that would be making the rounds.
One person did tell me it was pickleball, and then a couple told me it was basketball. So it doesn't matter what it is. My point is something happened during the bye week.
Yes.
And the evidence is there. Whether I've been told that or not, I have eyeballs. He did not have a lower body injury in that TCU game
in the fourth
quarter from the Baylor game that led to him practicing all week and then being out of this game. Something happened in between. And I also understand, to be fair, I understand protecting him also as a kid, right? You can't come out and be like, oh, you're screwing around, being a kid, screwing around and all that stuff. It's just you're dealing with, and he's commented a lot, and I'm talking about Levitt now, about how at the beginning of the year, he was thinking about the Heisman Trophy. Now he's like, no, I just want to go play. Do you, though? If you go out there and do that in that scenario?
Never even crossed my mind. We also won 3 intramural championships at SMU in basketball. That was after the season.
After the season. It's just that's the problem I have with this whole thing is they're gaslighting us, and that's what bothers me the most. Like, don't come out and say, just say, hey, guys, he got hurt. He got hurt this week. He lied to us, say it was in practice. But to say it goes all the way back to the Baylor game, when our eyeballs tell us differently, is an absolute. I think it's disgusting.
It does your fan base. Now again, I don't know if the big wigs, the high money dollar guys, of which you guys are one of them. I'm surprised you didn't get an email. Know what happened?
We don't get the perks that everybody else seems to get. Like, I wasn't offered to, because I'm not in the right. We don't go to the right programs. I talk a lot about the seediness of high school programs and the people around high school programs. It's not everybody, but it's bad in the college side, man. It's something I want no part of. You know, just to latch on to some people do it well, like Angel and Mark over there at Burrito Express. They do it the right way.
Right.
You know, they want to support these kids to have them here, and you know they get a friendship with them or whatever. But there's people out there that have nefarious goals with their money, and I don't want to be around those people. You know, type of a thing. But that's what's disgusting. Robert says, "I hope it's basketball and not pickleball." He's not my age.
Yeah, that would see. I guess if it was pickleball, I'd want to hide it because a 20-year-old should not be turning an ankle playing pickleball.
Right.
60-year-old, yes.
So we have an interesting scenario. We brought up Texas Tech before we get into yesterday's ASU game. X-rays and MRI on Texas Tech quarterback Morton. Legs were negative. He is day-to-day. His status Saturday at Arizona State won't be determined till later in the week. He left, if you didn't know, he left the game against Kansas in the first half with that leg injury. This is huge news for Texas Tech. We could have a Jess Sims against whatever the Texas Tech backup. Texas Tech opened 10-point favorites, even knowing their quarterback was injured going into this game. Coming up here. So something to monitor for ASU. Maybe give you some hope here, especially if you're able to get Levitt back as well coming up. And then my other side of it is, if Levitt is hurt, why did they let him walk out onto the field with a walking boot on?
Texas Tech beat Utah 34-10.
Yeah, they dominated them.
And that was
a couple weeks ago.
At Utah.
Yeah, they dominated them. Well,
why are they even going to play this game?
It comes down to this.
Why are you going to play this game, Steve?
Texas Tech dominated physically Utah. And what did we see on Saturday night? We saw an ASU team get manhandled. It looked like grown men trying to play a sport against 6-year-olds. They got absolutely utter domination from that side. Don't believe me? You don't have to believe me. Want to listen to CJ Fife and his conversations after the game on how the game went? Listen to the cue words here. You're going to hear it him, and then with Kenny Dillingham as well. Here's Fife after the game.
They got us physicality-wise. They out physical to us. We weren't making tackles. We're thinking too much. So once you start doing all that, it just kind of throws you off your game. So they got us tonight. So now we just got to go back to the drawing board, keep doing what we're doing, get back to the process.
No. Hey, you said everything. Hey, great. I'm not going to make fun of a college kid.
No, I'm not. I'm not making fun of it. I did it for the key word. But I agree with you.
Don't go back to the drawing board and do what you've been doing. You got to become better. So maybe change that drawing board.
Yep.
Because
so you cut onto that part of what he said that bothers me.
But I mean, again, most dudes are not going to be that honest.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a big dude.
Yes.
That's a kid. That's a guy that dominates most people he plays against. And he's up there saying they got out physicaled in a game, going into a game at Utah. I was worried about the physicality coming in, and then you heard about Sam Levitt. I told you guys on Friday, what's ASU's psyche going to be going into this game? You know what it was? Nothing. They decided not to show up in this game. So you used the word they dominated us, right? Here's Kenny Dillingham after the game as well. Let's listen to what words he uses.
Hello.
You're saying in that in relation to 2023
Yeah, it was a beating, and they just dominated the football game. You got to give credit to them. I believe six possessions. I don't have a drive chart in front of me, but I believe 6 possessions, 7 touchdowns. first half, we shortened the game, which was kind of our plan going into it. Offense had 3 real drives. They had 4 real drives, which is good when you play a game like that. But we couldn't finish in the red zone again, which was catastrophic. And then they did, and they finished with scores. That just can't happen versus a team that is good with the lead, right? So we just can't give up leads to teams that are good with the lead. We play into their hand.
Dominated. And then after the game, he went up to Winningham, the head coach of Utah, and said, "You guys kicked our butts. You dominated us." A Kenny Dillingham team doesn't go into games to get dominated.
Yeah,
And
but
that's
they
what they
said,
did.
but didn't they say 2 years ago that their goal is to be as physical as Utah?
Yep. And they're not
So
even
they're
close.
still 2 years away from.
And Texas Tech is more physical than Utah is.
That again, I have not watched much Texas Tech
You're going to be shocked. At
because
how
Texas
physical
Tech,
they are.
you're used to 9 wide receivers and 3 offensive linemen and
Right.
throwing the ball 80 times a game and.
Those guys are those days are gone. Well, because Robert says, hasn't Texas Tech went heavily into NIL before the limits take hold? Yes. They bought their team this year. Texas Tech has, folks. But Texas Tech is physical, and they just dominated Utah. Now, it was rainy. It was cold. You can make all those excuses. 38 degrees at kickoff it was, right, going to that game. You had all the delays with lightning, all of that stuff happening there. The thing that disappointed me most about this, I expected them to lose and I expected their psyche to be beat going into this game with the Leavitt news. You can't tell me losing your starting quarterback, who everybody has rallied around and has faith in, losing him a day and a half before the game doesn't affect the locker room. I don't care who your backup is. You can't tell me it doesn't affect you. But the thing that's
but
most disappointing.
Hold
Yep.
on, before you go any further than that. Do you really think that they only found out a day and a half before the game?
No. But he was practicing all week.
Was he practicing?
I know. It does. Okay. I mean,
But we're just left asking questions. Cause
yeah, but let's say even if it's Monday
I-
and you're expecting him to play, you come back from your bye week and all of a sudden your quarterback's hurt and you're going, what the heck?
Yeah, if it's Monday, now you got it all week. I just don't think that they woke up Thursday morning and go, oh, he's doubtful. No, you're
They
watching practice.
They played like it. The coaching staff looked like they
Yeah,
were
I'm
disinterested
just
in
saying.
being there. I agree with. I know.
I
What you're
think
saying.
at the end of the day, let's start with the fact that Utah's a better football team than ASU,
Right now, absolutely.
and then go from there.
Not one Power 5 school, Power 4 school looked at Dampier and said, "You can have success at this level."
Hey,
Why do we even have recruiters on the deal, man?
hey, and don't think I wasn't cheering for Devin Dampier because him and I are brothers from another mother. He grew up, went to Saguaro,
He did.
nothing from ASU.
Yeah.
I grew up, went to Saguaro, nothing from ASU.
Well, in his defense, Kenny Dillingham wasn't here yet. That was the Herm days.
yeah,
When they did not pay
and he
attention
didn't,
to
and he
local
didn't live in
kids.
Long Beach.
Yeah, if you were in California, they didn't look at you from that perspective. But it's just watching that kid play, and he's had his struggles this year at times. But watching that kid play and to go, I think Richard Oper put that out on Twitter, going, watching Dampier play. He goes, this is exactly what he did at Saguaro when he played there.
Well, the thing
And
is,
nobody recruited this kid except for New Mexico.
now the other thing is, you could say, yeah, he went to New Mexico and
Got better.
and did really, really well. And Dillingham was here when he went in the transfer portal.
Yeah, but you went with Leavitt. Yeah,
but
he went to transfer portal last year.
Yeah.
You weren't bringing Dampier. You weren't going to have a conversation with him when you had Leavitt here. That was before you knew Leavitt was going to get hurt on the bye week.
playing basketball.
I was just utterly disappointed. It looked like nobody wanted to be there on Saturday. They were like the fighters when Mike Tyson was in his prime. ASU lost that game before they got off the bus on Saturday night.
And do you think it was? Because again,
I think it's
40
a
to-
combination.
40 degrees to a fat man. That's a fat man's 80.
Right.
You love that type of
Did
weather.
Jeff Sims look like he was having fun out there?
Well, no, he's getting his butt beat.
Yeah, he was just. There was like no enthusiasm with this team. It just felt like they were like, we're going to go to Utah and lose. Let's go Utah and lose. Let's regroup for Texas Tech. That literally is how I felt. I felt it on Friday before I even saw them showing up for this game and stuff. And it was just like they just did. That's where I'm disappointed. This coaching staff didn't have them ready to play. And I've been critical of this coaching staff. I think the coaching staff, they talked all off season, and Robert retweeted at us here, Kenny beforehand going, we can go 5-7. Somebody's got to go 6-6. Well, the thing we forgot to look at, when we're worried about all the players reading their press clippings, was the coaches are doing their press clippings. What happened to this defense? They returned 10 of their starters. And this defense is not playing well and hasn't for most of the season. They start these games terribly. And I told you on Friday, you cannot come back from 14 down at Utah.
No.
And they can't. They obviously can't because that's where they got down to. TCU is another story. It's harder to come back, but you can do it against them. You can do that against Baylor. Utah, Texas Tech, you can't start the game they start. Their red zone offense is still atrocious. Kenny's joking around on Friday in his press thing. Hey, I got with ChatGPT about it and they try to solve it. There's something missing with this coaching staff compared to last year. And you can tell me all you want, it's Cam Scatterbo and that physicality. You can tell me that all you want because there's probably some truth to that. But where's the coaching at then to overcome that with the talent you have on this offense? That's what I was disappointed about.
Well, if they were looking past Utah, to get Texas Tech, wait till they turn on the film with Texas Tech.
I don't think they were looking past them. I just think with everything happening the way it went, I think I'm just my personal feelings, and they're gonna deny it till the end of time. ASU is, and they better deny it till the end of time. I felt they went, let's regroup and see what happens against Texas Tech.
Well, here's the thing. And
I'm talking before the Utah game, Dale, not afterwards. I felt going into Utah, ASU was like, we're not winning that one. Let's see what we can do against Texas Tech at 1 p.m.
Well, so the thing with me is I always try to go back to me. And
of course,
but my playing days.
I know, I'm joking. You phrased it that way.
To my experiences.
Yes.
And again, the talk about the physicality and how much better ASU has supposedly gotten physical wise, and this is going to be a great test.
Yeah.
If I told you what I used to hate to play against Samoans. I'd rather hit a brick wall than a Samoan.
These are guys that grew up on islands chasing and climbing trees.
You hit them as hard as you can, and it's like your head's shaking, and they're like, did you just hit me? But
let me know when you want to play, kid.
But I think I think this offensive line, watching them, there's the physicality part. There's also the technique part.
Yes.
They're sloppy.
That's what I'm getting
at.
As
far as taking steps and putting your head in the right place, sometimes you're going to get beat as an offensive lineman.
Absolutely, it happens.
But the number of times I saw bad pass sets, heads in the wrong places, those little things that you can control. The dude might run you over.
Yeah.
But if your head's in the right spot, guess what? He's still got to get over you.
You're going to slow him down.
Going to get over you.
And not get a penalty.
At least be a speed bump.
Yes, exactly. It's just, that's what's most disappointing to me with this team this year is where's that physicality? You can tell me all you want. Well, Cam brought that physicality. Absolutely he did. But that doesn't explain the defense physicality. That doesn't explain the offensive line physicality. It doesn't explain any of that physicality side of things out there as well, right, from that perspective. Here's my point and how another bad start for ASU here, right? Utah gets the ball, 15 plays, 75 yards, touchdown to go up 7-0. ASU rebounds, gets the field goal. Now they keep Utah there, 5 plays, 10 yards, 16 yards, and ASU gets the ball back and punts. That was the 3 plays. I think that was a minus yard drive there for them on that one. Then Utah goes 8 plays, 59 yards, touchdown. Missed field goal after 16 plays, 63 yards. And then touchdown, 6 plays, 75 yards for Utah at that point. That's the end of the half. You're just physically getting decimated. It's raining. It's cold. I feel I picked up on the message from everybody going into the game was we're just going to go up there, play a game, and come home. Whatever happens, happens. I picked up on that from the outside. You can't tell me it wasn't a vibe they were giving off. So, well, how bad was it on the inside is my question going forward. And look, I'm not going to rip, Jeff Sims. I told you guys he was not good at Nebraska, when he came here. But that kid finds out he's starting, even if it was Monday, which I don't think it was, Dale.
No, I think he had the whole bye week.
Jeff Sims, you think? I disagree. I think he gets put in these road games. Your offense is already struggling. You can't get off the hot starts at all. And you're putting a backup quarterback in there. And that's why on this Friday I was like, Utah's winning this game. It's not even going to be close coming up. From that perspective, it's not fair to put a kid. I don't care if he's a 7-year senior and 42 years old. We're going to start calling him Dr. Sims here coming up. It's just, I don't know. It just gave off all the vibes of letdown game. That's exactly what it was. And it's disappointing how unprepared they were for it. That's my biggest takeaway. Now, do you have faith they're going to rebound this week against Texas Tech? This could be the snowball part of the season. Is there something happening? I'm going to say in the locker room. Is there something happening inside this team that we don't know about on why this team continues to have these struggles?
Well, I don't think it's going to start against Texas Tech.
What, the turnaround?
Yeah. And I think that you're going to sit here and look at it and go, how are they going to get out of this tailspin? Because, again,
that's what I'm looking at.
And I don't keep copious notes like you do, but you'll say things that will jog my memory. And
I have to take notes because I don't remember anything.
Probably the most shocking thing to me was the disarray of the ASU offensive line.
Yeah.
Whether it's pass protection, whether it's run blocking, yes, you can come at me all you want with Utah's physical and blah, 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 blah. But it was the sloppiness of the play.
But it's the defensive, too. The defense looks discombobulated out there and just gets run on left and right, and we did not see that last year. And Cam Scadaboo doesn't affect that stuff, folks. Now, he can make your offensive line look better. There's no doubt about that from that side. But that's my disappointing. So Kenny Dillingham talked about Leavitt after the game. Let's hear what Kenny Dillingham had to say.
I would say week to week. I think that's the fairest way to put it. I think we'll, evaluate it Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, Monday, and then see what happens on Tuesday, Wednesday, then make a decision from there.
So do you think the walking boot was a prop?
No, I don't know why you let him go out there for a pregame warm-ups and a walking boot. I think the way they're handling this is just god-awful.
It's weird.
You don't see it handled this way. And it's allowing these rumors, whether it's true or not. It might come out, he was saving some girl from a fire in an apartment building, Dale, and that's how he twisted his ankle, right? It might come out something to that effect. And it wasn't, playing other games and stuff like that. But it's the way they're handling it is allowing this stuff to happen.
If it was one of those things, don't you think that would have made its way out?
It's like when you hear somebody's out of a baseball game because they sneezed and they hurt their back. It's because they were doing something else. And that's the excuse they had to come up with. They're like, we're going to come up with an embarrassing. I'm going to come up with an embarrassing
You did something
yes.
more stupid
yes.
than sneezing.
So we're going to make you sound stupid when we announce what happened to you. That's just my disappointment going into this. Now, we'll see this week what happens. Now, you could get lucky. Texas quarterback might not play if I can talk. Holy cow. Do you get Leavitt back this week? I'll say this. I have a feeling, and now we'll learn this week, and this is just speculation on my part. His ankle or whatever it was bad, was damaged, right? And they knew the weather was going to be bad. And they were like, you know what? Let's keep him. Like I said, punt on this game. Let's punt on this game, and then he'll be ready for Texas Tech. Let's not have him go out there because they lost at least 3 other guys that are going to be out for multiple weeks in that game. So bad weather, all of that stuff. I think it was also precautionary takeout, possibly, because of the weather, who they were playing, all of that stuff. Let's not go out there and risk it getting worse We need him for the rest of the year, which is what I mean by they punted in this Utah game. They looked at it and went, Psh, we're not even going to try here. Let's move on with our lives going forward. So when we come back, we'll keep it rolling. Upsets galore in football this year. Penn State, got fired. Oregon State fired their coach. Record number of coaches getting fired. This is still too early for the firing season, folks.
You've already forgot that Oklahoma State and UCLA
Well,
fired
I
their
wasn't
coaches.
naming the ones that have already been
I know.
fired.
I'm just saying. You
Yeah,
kind of forget
I
that they've
know,
already
yeah.
fired their coaches.
Will Indiana lose their coach to Penn State halfway through the season?
Would
the
you
bigger
go?
question. I wouldn't if I was him. I'd hold out for a better school than Penn State.
Yeah. Or just give me more money.
Watch for Nebraska's head coach, Matt Rule, to be at Penn State. He is like besties with that AD over there at Penn State. So don't be surprised if that move happens coming up. Something to keep an eye on. And that could happen in the middle of the season, the way Nebraska's playing. Come on back, folks. The main event. My favorite part about the weekend was
Hey, these breaks are way
too short.
way too quick. Crying out loud.
I got a couple more we got to throw in there, but we
Jeez.
got those there. The interesting thing, by the way, The Real Matrix, you saw that first 3 episodes up at Robat TV. Check it out. We've got the copyright stuff all done there on YouTube, so those will be posted later on today. I know I promised it last week. Wasn't our fault. Of course, free podcast just on Podbean right now for them. It's going to get spread out. New episode coming out this week at noon as well. Robat TV, YouTube, and then, of course, free podcast system for The Real Matrix as well coming your way this week. Of course, Pit Stop, we'll do the Look Back show later on today. It'll be up. And then, of course, McCollum on Business coming up at 11 o'clock here shortly. But did you get up at 4 a.m. yesterday morning and watch the Suns game? I actually saw somebody post that they literally were like, I'm going to have to watch these games and figure out what sets the Suns are running and who they're playing where and everything to get ready for the season. And I'm like, no, you don't.
You can watch it at 9 o'clock. That's why they got that recording device.
But you don't need to watch that in preseason. Whatever they're doing right now in preseason basketball, they're not going to be doing when the season starts in 9 days.
I thought you'd be up. Wasn't there a wrestling thing over the
It
weekend?
was at 5 a.m. on Saturday.
And I know you're up for that.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was up by 5:30 or so. I just woke up. So I had it on. I actually came down here and did some stuff on Saturday morning. So I had it on, waiting for football to start. From Perth, Australia there.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. It's good matches, Dale. It's good matches. Good matches, man. So first of all, I want to give the update on, by the way, Mariners last night. Dale picked Mariners. I picked Toronto to win this round. Mariners won last night.
Yeah.
I thought no chance in hell the Mariners were winning with that 18-inning game the other night and, their pitching not being set up and all that. And then they go in there and they win. Look at that.
Well, not only that, but
big
Steve,
dumper.
the first inning, I forget the Seattle pitcher's name, 27 pitches to get out of the first inning.
know.
I mean, come on, a 15-inning game, fly
Yeah.
to Toronto, and then 27 pitches to get out of the first inning?
I know. It was like stacked up for
That's-
Toronto to win game
yes.
one, and they did. So I'll be honest with you. I picked Toronto. I've leaned toward Toronto the way they've played in that conference, in that division that they're in. But I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping Seattle does this. This will be a lot of fun if Seattle gets there. We'll lose a little bit of the luster with Toronto winning it. Yes, they're Canadian, but because it's a Canadian team, we're going to lose a little bit of that luster of the World Series, I think, if it does happen in Canada. But both of these teams are fun. You got them, Game 2 today here, 5:03 p.m. Eastern time, so 2 o'clock our time here today on Fox. Then you got Dodgers-Milwaukee tonight. Dale, who do you got? Dodgers-Milwaukee.
For the series?
For the series, not just tonight. Yes, for the series. You have Seattle winning that series.
Yes.
I have Toronto. Who do you have in this one?
I'll let you pick, and I'll take the other one. I kind of like it that way.
Uh,
I think I'd go Dodgers.
Okay, good, because I'm going to go out on a limb and say Brewers win this series. I have no confidence in that, but I'd like to see the Brewers. I want to see a Brewer. Could you imagine the networks losing their mind that it's Milwaukee and Seattle battling it out? Which means the umpires are going to screw this series up beyond belief. They're not going to let the Dodgers lose it at all. So, yeah. So you got Dodgers, huh? You're going with the hated Dodgers.
Yep. You know, you're picking with your head, not your heart. And how can you hate the Dodgers? You know, I know there's a rivalry. Supposedly.
I hate the Dodgers from when I was a. That's why I'm an Angels fan growing up, was because
Yeah.
I hated the Dodgers beyond belief.
I
So
mean,
my
but-
hatred goes farther back than just being a D-backs fan. But to your point there, I hate how they buy their roster. I hate all that stuff. But man, they're fun to watch. There's a lot of good baseball players on that team.
That batting order is just like, how do you get through the entire
It's like the old
thing?
Yankees, man. Like I hated them to death when they bought their teams and all that. But then, how could you not pay attention to them with what they had there? So I'm gonna go with Milwaukee. Let's go, Pat, ex-ASU coach there, Pat Murph.
Yeah. I mean, I won't
I told
be
you
disappointed.
I've known people that have played for Pat Murphy over the years, and they speak nothing but glowing things about him. Like he could call them right now and say he's having my car broke down on Interstate 12 up here in Milwaukee. And they'd be like, Coach, I'm on a plane, coming to do it, coming to fix it for you. It's just the respect that I've seen people have about. Because to me, he comes off as just this curmudgeonly old grumpy guy, and he's apparently not that way, right? From what I hear from other people out there. So all right, so there we go, baseball. Yay, team. Come on, Toronto. You blew game one when it was right there in your hands, man. Come on. Then, but before we get into heavy Cardinals stuff here as well, Josh Weinfuss, yesterday he put this out, 2:24 p.m. Yesterday. The Cardinals said tight end Travis Vokolek has been released from an Indianapolis hospital, was cleared to fly back to Arizona with the team as well. So, they said after the game, Jonathan Gannon said he had a neck injury and a concussion. I mean, the neck injury was obvious the way they carted him off. And, so they take the face mask off for air reasons, and they leave the helmet on so you don't extend your neck because your pads, are high. So you can't rest your head naturally without pushing it back. So that's why they leave the helmet on in those situations, by the way, in case you were wondering why they do that. It's to keep the neck stabilized and not cause more stuff from that side. And that was like, kickoff, right? Instantly off the game. So good news from that perspective for him, and wish him
It's just
obviously the
amazing
best.
because it was kind of an innocuous hit. I mean, he was blocking, the guy hit him, and probably done that hundreds of times in his career. And that particular time,
Well, obviously there's something with that turf and the hardness of it and everything. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. made that catch and hit his head on it, So
yeah, but I don't
I
care
know
what
it's
turf stadium you're playing on. The way Marvin went down,
yeah,
it was just that whiplash effect. So
Yep. So I wanted to get that out there that he hopefully whether he plays football again this year or not, it's secondary. Anytime you get carted off with that effect, have to give the thumbs up and everything. That's not a good sign from that perspective. Cardinals are 2-11 in their last 13 against winning teams, folks. They've also lost 7 in a row. So we've been talking about how this team's been rebuilding and they've been playing hard, and we're all on board on this rebuild, and they're getting better. Are they? Are they, Dale? Are they getting better? They're not the bottom team in the league anymore, but they're like right in the middle now, and they're just sitting in the middle.
They're below middle.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say if they power
20?
polls where they come out in the low 20s.
That's where everybody has them
Yeah.
right now. We'll see if they drop some more,
That's
but
fair.
a lot of people had them 17, 18. Now they're like 22, 23 on average is where they're sitting from that side. Here's my overall take of the game yesterday in general. Regardless of how you want to break it down and look at on that stuff, the bottom line is Cardinals lost in the same fashion they've lost the last three. Except this time, the Cardinals had a chance to win it instead of the other team going down and winning. Cardinals had a chance to do it, and they weren't able to convert it and win. Partly because the refs decided to, not pay attention and throw a flag. But partly also they just failed at that point. So 4 games in a row, the Cardinals have lost basically at the last. Yeah, exactly. Not last play like they were the last 3, but that's as close as you can get to that point. This Cardinals team obviously doesn't know how to finish. Whether it be coaching staff, whether it be defense. They can't stop the other team when they need to in the fourth quarter. And this defense was rested yesterday. It wasn't like the other games where they had, they were out in the field and tired late in the game and had to stop them and they couldn't do it. It's just the talent is there on this team. They're not getting it done on the backside. Dale, is that coaching? I believe you have to go through these struggles to get to the other side. You have to go through these struggles and then you'll have a breakthrough. Am I wrong on that? Like, do they just need to win one of these and then it kind of turns? Or is this something that just sticks with you when you lose this way in this fashion? It's never been done before, by the way, but that's the Cowboy guy that won a bunch of Super Bowls.
The thing that I would say, number one, that non-pass interference call. Yes, it was a penalty. That ball was thrown 12 feet high. He had no chance on God's green earth to catch that.
Hey, Kobe, do we have that play? Did I put that in there? I'm not sure if I did.
But that's an aside. I know we'll get into the
Yep, that one, Kobe. Yep.
Sorry,
guys.
Okay.
I didn't write it down that I did it. So
okay.
Well, let's see it here. Let's just see it real quick here because a lot of people are talking about this. This is that 4th down play. Obviously, they didn't score at this point here. So here it is if you missed it.
Watch where the ball is thrown. Right there, that's a tug, a hold.
I understand, but that's at least defensive holding.
Yeah. Oh,
But here's my argument for Cardinals fans flipping out about that. You know who gets those calls? The Chiefs, the Bills. Who are you?
You're saying good teams get those calls?
Who are you not? You're not getting that call against a 4-1 Colts team. You're not. You're just not.
So you asked. I thought this was, and this has to be the year, but obviously it's not looking like it's going to be the year. After years 1 and 2 of this program, and that's how I look at it, it's a program. And when you have an ownership group who says, we'll give you 3 full years to implement it. Mm-hmm. We know there'll be growing pains in the first year. We want to see improvement, be competitive, those types of things in year 2, and then we need to turn a corner in year 3.
Yep. That's why playoffs, I was like, they have to make the playoffs this year.
Everything going into the season pointed to they improved the talent. They brought in some high-priced guys. The younger guys have now got some experience.
If they can get on the field.
And I don't see it. I don't know the percentage, but 90+% of NFL games are going to come down to the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
That's why Lou says if you see a double-digit spread, go the other way.
Yes.
Because games don't very often. They do happen.
Yeah, but not
as often. You don't get those big blowout type
No.
Yeah.
And so how do you figure out? Well, you have to win one. Somehow, some way, you got to win one. And then you start to get that feeling, and now your confidence gets built, and you can kind of go on. Now, there's so many things I'm looking at the Cardinals. Their offensive line played better yesterday.
Do you know who was in there the whole game?
He was, but he got tired.
He did.
And he started getting beat.
Rightfully so.
First time he played a whole game,
but
he'll get better.
But they didn't have the gaping problems consistently like they did in games past.
Yes. But the thing that I'm looking at is, what do you do about quarterback? Because
that's the question.
Whether it was a different game plan or the quarterback just took upon himself to look at different receivers, that offense looked different.
Before we get into the quarterback thing, because that's obviously a big part of this conversation, and we'll talk it tomorrow with Bruce as well, because this is going to dominate the talk this week. But even Robert says this. Given the last 8 quarters of defense for the Cardinals, do you think the prior games were smoke and mirrors? I said it before, and I kind of brushed over it, but I said it before. The Cardinals' defense changed this year. They went with high-priced guys. They went with high-level draft picks that aren't finding the field, that type of stuff, right? What did they have the last 2 years when the defense was overperforming and dominating? They had guys that didn't have the talent but had the heart.
Yeah.
Now you've got the guys, not everybody. I'm not going to put Josh Sweat in this category. But now you've got a bunch of high-priced guys, a lot of guys with high expectations that are supposed to be good in there. And the defense is falling flat. Where's the heart on these front guys? You're right. You're missing number 7, right? Kazir White. You're missing Gardak. You're missing those guys. Where's the heart on that team?
Right.
On that defensive side. That's what you're missing. Sometimes you let those less talented guys go to bring in the talented guys, and you go backwards. And it's because you don't have the heart you had before. And I think that's what's happening with the front 7 on the Cardinals. They don't have the heart that they had before. The want to, the will, the I'm not going to be here long because I don't have the talent of the guy next to me. So I'm going to go out there and do the best I damn can.
Or how did I make this team? I made it with effort.
And that's what they're missing. Where's the effort we saw from the Dennis Gardaks, the Kazir Whites, and those guys? It's not on this defense this year. Period. End of story. It's not smoke and mirrors. They're missing that heart element. They're missing that hard element. They're missing that I have to go out there to keep my job element. Darius Robinson's not afraid of getting cut. Walter Nolan's not afraid of getting cut. What's their incentive to come back right now and play? Dennis Gardak, he would be fighting tooth and nail to get his butt out there to play and do some damage on that line and get some pressure on the quarterback. Where's the heart on this defense? That's what I think's missing on the defense. You talk about Cam Scatterbo and ASU and that heart missing. Same thing on that defensive front for the Cardinals. They brought in the high-priced guys that don't have that heart. Now, they have heart. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying they don't want to play and they don't have pride. But you guys know what I'm talking about when I say Dennis Gardak and Kazir White. They didn't put up with crap, and they beat the crap out of you on the other side when it came to that point. You don't see that right now on the defensive side.
Let me tell you one other thing to keep an eye on, and I noticed it yesterday. Probably 3 times, the Indianapolis Colts running back, who's a hell of a running back. I'm forgetting his name.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Jonathan
Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. Hell of a running back.
Tool Time. Look up Tool Time, folks. Great show.
But I saw Calais Campbell within a hair of making tackle.
Yeah.
Just not even a full step behind, a quarter of a step behind.
Yeah.
To where either in the first 5 games he's making that tackle, last year he's making that tackle, this year falling just short. I'm just telling you, it's something to keep an eye on.
Well, they said earlier that he's going to play like 30 snaps a game, right, instead of the 60 or whatever.
Yes. Oh, he's playing too much.
Well, that's my point. I got to look up what his snap counts are because I get the impression he's always on the field.
Yep.
I get the impression he's playing 40 or 50 snaps a game. That's too much for him.
Mm-hmm.
As an old man, I got myself. I understand how he feels, right? From that side. So we'll go in a little bit of overtime here. The big thing I want to take, and we'll get heavy on this with Bruce tomorrow, folks. So we talk a lot of NFL on that day. Here's what I noticed with Jacoby as quarterback, and I've mentioned this in other ways. Like if you were watching the Chiefs game last night against the Lions. There's just something different about those teams on the field than what you see with the Cardinals. I developed a word yesterday, and I've noticed it before when Kyler Murray's been out, but I noticed it even more yesterday with Jacoby Brissett because I was paying attention to it. When Kyler's out there, it's like a chaotic offense. Nobody knows where the ball's going. Nobody knows where Kyler's going to be. Nobody knows what's happening out there, right? It's always like chaos. There was a calmness to the Cardinals yesterday. So much so that Wilson, after the game, used my word, calm. He goes, look, he doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. He's just calm. This team needs a calmness, not a chaos around it. And Kyler Murray brings that chaos. Jacoby Brissett brings the calmness. Neither one of them are getting you to the Super Bowl. But who's best for the team now? Jonathan Gannon, after the game, said, Kyler Murray's our quarterback, period. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. To me, that's the right decision. If Jacoby Brissett starts 10 games, this team's in even more trouble than they're in right now.
Right.
Much as I like Jacoby Brissett. But Kyler Murray's injury, hey, Kyler, we got a bye week coming up. How about this Green Bay game? We're going to go with Jacoby again while you get better. Then you come back for the Dallas game. We better. I don't want to see Kyler against the Packers this week. Let him off. Leave him off if you're going to go back to him till that Monday night game. If that's your decision.
Well, because if it is that serious, you got a bye week after this week,
yes,
and then a Monday night game. So you give him basically a month.
Exactly. So let's not see Kyler this week. Let's see Jacoby, what he can do again and that stuff. Just what he was doing, right? He did it also without Marvin Harrison Jr. for most of the game. Obviously did it without Trey Benson. Obviously did it without Connor out there as well. He was hitting multiple receivers. How many 3rd and longs did they convert? Now, is that a byproduct because 3rd and 8 with Kyler, they decided to run the ball and they took a lot of heat for it? So in this game, they were like, 3rd and 8, we're throwing it deep. Those are the things we don't know. Like, did they fundamentally change calling the game because of previous stuff? Or is that just the Jacoby Brissett converting 3 and 8s, 3 and 12s? They did it yesterday. My other side is this. Kyler Murray in this offense don't throw more than 200 yards. Kyler Murray hasn't done it in 3 years. They don't score more than 25 points in a game. They haven't done that in forever either. Jacoby Brissett went into a hostile environment, granted one he's familiar with, playing there before, against a team that has everything rolling. And Jacoby Brissett brought a calmness to this offense. And this is my question. We don't have the answer if it's offensive coordinator or quarterback yet. And actually it convoluted it yesterday in my eyes, Dale. Think about this tonight, everybody. Homework. Was the game called different, or is this offense more set up for Jacoby than it is Kyler? Are they the coaches? Is Pensing the coach that runs his system, even if it doesn't satisfy his quarterback and isn't what his quarterback can do? And so yesterday it looked better because that offense sets up for Jacoby better. Or do they call it differently? Those are things we don't know. That's why I'd like to see a second game with Jacoby. You know, like I said, you got a built-in reason to leave Kyler out, bye week coming up. But it muddied the water in my eyes of who the problem is here. Because we're not in the locker room. We don't know that stuff.
The thing is, you look at Jacoby, and as you mentioned, over 300 yards passing. The one interception, that was another penalty.
Well, receiver got bumped off the ball.
Got Plum knocked down.
That's right. Yeah, running the route. Yeah, got knocked down.
And nothing was called.
Yeah, and he threw it. See, if Kyler did that, everybody would be losing their mind. Yeah. Jacoby, everybody's like, tough throw. Guy got bumped off. It does make me laugh. It's just.
Did it jump out at you, DeMarcado, only one carry?
Well, and then he got hurt. Bam Knight's a physical running back. Why is that guy not getting the ball? Why is that guy not taking the physical role that James Conner had, Bam Knight? That guy is physical. Physical as all heck. Yeah, so he got injured. So it wasn't like they were punishing him. DeMarcado is going to lose his job if Bam Knight keeps playing like this, coming up. It's just the thing that stuck out to me there was a calmness to the team yesterday. Like, when Kyler's not quarterback, it's like you're coming down from a bender, right? On a Friday night bender. You're just all shaky and you're all fidgety and, you don't know what's happening and you're trying to keep everything in focus. And then Jacoby yesterday was like every other football game I watched for the good teams. It was just like, let's see what happens. Kumbaya. When bad things happened, it wasn't like a negative thing. Jacoby was just like, okay, next play. Let's go. A calmness out there. I liked it. I noticed it early. Throughout the whole game, it just sat with me. And then to hear Wilson say that afterwards, use the same word. It was just calm out there. Sometimes you just don't fit into the scenario.
Well, but is that not the coach's job?
Yes, this
to
is
make
why
you
it bothers
fit
me.
into your scenario.
If Jacoby Brissett goes out this week, throws for another 300 yards against the Packers and looks the same way, even if they lose, this offense is set up for Jacoby's style of quarterbacking, not Kyler Murray's, which I think we all know that's the problem because they don't roll Kyler out. They don't do any of that stuff and things to that effect. And it's just like, what is happening right now? It's brutal out there. Do you have in the fans' eyes, you have a quarterback controversy. In the Cardinals' eyes, you don't. If he's going to stick with Drew Penzing, he ain't giving up on Kyler in the middle of the season either, folks. But I wouldn't be shocked if Jacoby doesn't play this week.
It makes too much sense. It'd be one thing if you went out and they scored 3 points and got blown out 41-3, and
you went toe to toe with one of the highest scoring
the
offenses
beasts of the Midwest.
in Indianapolis. Oh, at the same time, did you see Mark Sanchez got released from the hospital with his?
He's trying to recover. I don't want to talk about it.
Do
you think he remembers what happened?
Well, I think he's either seen the video or people are going, "What the hell's wrong with you? What are you on?" It's just one, why are you talking to the camera? Never a good thing in that scenario. Two, it's just knowing you beat up a 69-year-old man and almost killed him. Sorry, man, your sadness just rings hollow to me, buddy. It was just not a good look for him, and his lawyer's right next to him. Then he had his lawyer helping him take his jacket off to go in the jail to get fingerprinted and everything. He's lucky to be alive. He almost died in that stabbing.
Both guys almost died.
And you started it.
Yeah.
It's just
over a parking spot. Again,
in an alleyway.
I don't know how drunk he was, but
I gotta be more than just drunk in this, right? But here's the thing: you don't become a bully like that on a Saturday night because you're drunk. You're a bully like that every Saturday night you drink. So it shouldn't be a shock.
He's Mark Sanchez. I mean, if the guy wasn't 70 years old, it probably would have beat his quarterback in the soft rear end.
It's just, I watched that video and I was just like, man, you're trying to garner sympathy.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I got.
And it's just like, you ain't going to get it, buddy. Because the guy, I even put it out on Twitter. I go, you're able to walk out, hand in a sling. You're able to talk to the media who's meeting you. You're able to walk to the jail cell to get your fingerprints and be booked and everything and to be released to go home. Well, you know who doesn't get that ability? The guy you attacked. The 69-year-old guy probably trying to make some coin in this crappy economy to support his family. And was just trying to get oil from the kitchen like he does every other night of the week to earn some money at 12:30 in the morning.
Have you ever your entire life been walking down the street and go, hey, I don't think that work truck can park there?
I've never been the guy that's like, yeah, that guy probably shouldn't park there. I'm like, yeah, I'm parked there, whatever the repercussions are, I don't care.
Unless that's my parking spot.
Yeah, that'd be different.
But
my name's on that one, sir.
At midnight, no.
No, I know. That's the thing. It's like over something that's stupid.
And remember when this first happened, I was like, because I know what that's like. Saturday night, well, we do college games, so Friday night we always go out as a group.
The TMZ video had just him on all that video.
And so that's what, initially when we didn't know anything, I just know we all go out to eat. Maybe there'll be one or two of us who go have a beer at a bar or whatever. but we're never alone.
This was Friday. Was it?
It's a Friday night.
Okay,
not
so
to
it's
say-
still a day before the
yeah.
game. So they flew in early to meet with the
Yeah,
coaches and all
TV
that
does
stuff.
it
Yeah.
a couple days early. But you're never really alone.
That tells me it wasn't.
And what are you
I'm
doing out at
speculating, allegedly.
12:30, 1 o'clock? Anyway, there's so
Yeah.
many things that he should have been in his room and none of this happened.
Now Fox is going to institute a bed check for their personalities now. it just struck me as a guy leaving the hospital that's garnering sympathy because he knows he's going to get fired. He's ruined his life in terms of his public persona and stuff. And people in this industry, we know some people that used to, I'm going to use it this way, used to be somebody in this industry, right? And, you know, I've met them later on in life, and it's like, ooh, they still think they're that guy. And they're not. Ooh, that's tough. That's probably what Mark Sanchez is going through right now on top of it. On top of the fact he could go to jail for felony and things of that effect. And it's just for the attorney to let him speak when he walked out of that's terrible attorney, whoever that guy was next to him. No. Hey, Mark, we're going to walk out. We're going to get you a wheelchair. The nurse, I'm gonna take you to the car. You're gonna get in the car and may ask questions. You just stare at them, look a little crazy. Well, don't look crazy. Look a little like you're hopped up on. I'll tell them you're hopped up on medicine, pain meds. Get in the car and we drive off. Don't speak to anybody.
Every time I've left the hospital, they make you get in a wheelchair.
And now he's all stumbling. My favorite part though, he gets to the thing and they're going through the metal detector, and the guy that was with him, the lawyer, has to like take his wallet out of his back pocket because he can't even get it because his arm's on the sling. And the whole time I'm literally Dale, and I'm not a guy that like is hateful on that side. And even I'm like, oh, good struggle with this Tiger. It just makes me angry on who he attacked. If it was a 20-year-old kid or 30-year-old that's running his mouth, this would have been I'd feel differently about it. It's what happened, who he did it, and stuff like that just bothers the crap out of me and whatever, man. Anyway, Dale, we'll talk more tomorrow about the Cardinals and ASU and see how Bruce feels about it, because see if he comes in angry again. I've never seen Bruce angry until last week, by the way, folks.
I was so angry Saturday night because, gosh, Arizona had a chance to win that game. They had a chance.
What do you attribute that to? Like, it was fantastic. Arizona
Played their tail off.
Yeah, they did. They overperformed to get there. It's an impressive win in that environment, even though they're at home. Rain, all the weather stuff. We're just not used to that here. And they took a team that is used to that, who's playing well this year, and they just didn't have it. BYU had to score late to take that into overtime, and they just couldn't pump over, just get it over that hump side from that. Here's the good news for Arizona, and good news for you with your bet with Bruce. Their schedule is, they got a couple. Houston might be a problem for them and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I'd rather have Houston than Tech.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And, God, Colorado all of a sudden sticks their head up and plays well against Iowa State the other night. So we'll talk all about that with Bruce Cooper tomorrow, of course, and when we come back, I like Robert tagged me on this. Somebody out there, one of those influencers here in the Valley, throws up the ref missed a clear illegal contact on Jacoby Brissett touchdown. That's 2 massive no calls against the Cardinals. We could also find 2 or 3 missed calls against the Colts because they happened yesterday as well from that perspective there. It's tonight 2 Monday Night Football games?
It is.
Can't wait for that to end. Oh, that's right. Falcons tonight. I expect them to get blown out.
Well, you sit there and you go, I thought it was, again, just the opening weekend, but
it used to be, but not anymore. Because
the last couple weekends?
Well, because I think it's before it only happened at the beginning because you never had a Monday night game the final week of the season.
Right.
So they had to get that extra game in. Now I think it's happening, and it goes away, with some merger stuff and all that. But eventually, whenever that happens. But I think now we're getting them because by Amazon getting good games, like Amazon has to get good games now. I think they're trying to repay the Monday Night Football package of, we'll give you 2 games.
Buffalo at Atlanta, Bears at the Commanders.
I'm looking forward to that. The second game. I hate how they overlap too.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't. Why an hour? Why not
2
make
hours.
it 2 hours so you're at halftime of the other game?
What is the other
second
side?
starts-
Both of these are East Coast games. Why don't you have a West Coast one that starts later, right? And then an East Coast one that starts at 4 our time, and then a West Coast one that starts at 7 our time. At least do that. This is at Falcons and at Washington. What are we doing? And Roger Goodell, call me. Everyone else, see you tomorrow, everybody. McCall My Business coming up. Pit stop later on in the day as well.
Big day for Steve.
See you tomorrow, folks.